Hi class, this is Sister Condit, and after reading some of your papers this past assignment, I wanted to go over point of view and person and talk about the difference between personal essay and academic writing so we can get that more formal writing that you'll need to be more successful in your future classes. I was lucky enough to have a teaching group leader who made this really great PowerPoint to help explain it, and I want to go through parts of it and just help you understand so we can get those I and me and I believe and I think out of your academic writing and polish it up and just help it be better. So we're going to use Minecraft to talk about this because video games are a really great way of explaining point of view. So we're going to talk about how to shift that and how to get that more accurate. So let's talk about what point of view is first. So the third person point of view is when you are talking about what you see. So Minecraft, for example, can be played in two modes, first person and third person. And first person is the camera is using the player's perspective on the game, or is it seen as if through their eyes. And that's what first person writing is. I, me, I saw, I think. And this is this has a place in personal essays when you're using a personal experience and that type of situation. But in research papers or academic writing, we want to refrain from doing that so that we can strengthen our argument. Third person is when the camera includes the player in the action as if seen through someone else's eyes. So you can be watching them from the front or from the rear, but you are watching the action happen. You are not involved in it. You're seeing it happen. First person is written from the author's perspective. This is great for personal narratives or opinion pieces, not just sharing your opinion in a paper. Obviously, an entire persuasive paper is going to be based on your point of view, but it is appropriate for personal narratives or when you are writing a purely editorial opinion piece. That would include words like I, we, us, me, mine, ours. You're involved in all of those words. So, for example, it was times like these when I thought my father, who hated guns and had never been to any wars, was the bravest man who ever lived. So that's a story being told about that person's life from that person's perspective from To Kill a Mockingbird. From Jane Eyre, I could not unlove him now merely because I found that he had ceased to notice me. She's talking about her feelings and her perspective in her story. And then from The Great Gatsby, and I like large parties. They're so intimate. At small parties, there isn't any privacy. Talking about my preferences, my point of view, that's a purely editorialized statement there. Second person is when you're talking directly to someone. It's the you point of view. When you are writing to your audience specifically. It is most appropriate for when you are actually conversing with a specific person. So in email messages where you were emailing a specific person, or in a presentation where you were talking to a specific group of people. Business and technical writing, it works because you're telling a specific person how to do something or what has happened, even if you don't know who that is. So if you're writing directions for something, you want to take A and put part B and like that. So here's an example of that. Class, you need to be in your seats when the principal arrives. Tom and Jerry, I'm speaking to you as well. By the way, these comic books yours? Make sure your desks are neat and the papers are picked up. You need to be respectful and raise your hand. Talking directly to specific people. Third person is the most common point of view used in fiction writing. That's when they tell stories from a narrator point of view. And is the traditional form for academic writing. So this has the he, she, it, they, them, theirs. It makes your essay sound more assertive. It makes your support sound more credible because it doesn't sound like it's just something you thought up. And it sounds less controversial and it sounds more professional. So it invites fighting less. You know, you've seen fake Facebook posts that go ridiculous in ways blogs didn't, you know. And it is more professional. So this is what I want you to focus on, is including this in your academic writing. This is what you need to use in your next paper and should have used in your last paper, but definitely as we move into that persuasive paper, you want to be using that. Third person writing sounds more assertive. If you write your essay in first person, you risk the chance of statements like I think or I believe. Take those out of your writing. The only time we had that I believe is when the name of the paper was This I Believe, and it was the point of saying, here's what I believe, and you're writing a personal essay. When you're writing an academic research paper or an academic argumentative paper, including support for your thesis, be more direct. Take out the I think or I believe. We don't want that in there. It totally weakens your argument, and it's elementary writing, so we want to make sure we're improving that. We want statements that say, these are the facts. My point of view is the right one. It's direct. So we do that in this way. So here's an example. Instead of saying, this is why I believe jazz is the first form of truly American music. Oh, thanks for sharing your opinion. Neat. But if I say, this is why jazz is the first form of truly American music. Oh, is it? It's stated as a statement. It is strong. It is powerful. That is the way it is. I have supported it. I have proven it. It is true. So we take that and make it stronger. It's more definite, and it comes across as more certain. So we want to have that in there. Third person writing also makes your support sound more credible. First person makes your support sound like it's coming from a non-credible source. It makes it sound like you're just thinking of it. So when you present facts or opinions like I think or I believe in front of a statement, it doesn't give any validity to that statement. It makes it sound like, no offense, I'm just saying, to each his own. You can think whatever you want, but here's what I think. It's apologetic. We do that when we're faced with an argument that people are having over a topic, and we start with, well, in my opinion, because it's that disclaimer that don't fight with me, you're entitled to yours. Well, in your paper, you get to say how it is. You get to use your evidence to prove your point, and that is how it is. So you don't have to have those apology phrases. Make strong arguments. Get rid of those. It also encourages you to use other sources than just your feelings or your opinion to validate your claims. And that's actually something that I'm going to talk about in our notes and everything that we need to pay attention to. We don't want to rely on personal opinion, or even, no matter how powerful it is, just your testimony in academic writing, when there's research and evidence or authorities that we can use as well. So let's look at these two. Rather than saying, I believe that children should consume less sugar because it leads to higher risk of obesity, which again, oh, thanks for sharing. According to the Obesity Action Coalition, children who consume a lot of sugar have an increased risk of obesity. Oh. The second, it puts that authoritative source. It makes us feel like, wow, it is a big problem. It makes us really want to, as the reader, look into that and see what the real issue is. It also sounds less controversial and more professional to write in third person. Writing in first or second person can give that tone that we don't mean to have. So when we look at when writing a novel, you should think about what kind of tone you want to portray before choosing which point of view you want to use. Hey, maybe think of that. But it's not a direct attack at any one reader. Even though readers can figure it out, your reader shouldn't have to figure out what you mean. You should say what you mean. So it kind of feels directed at them. So we want to say, when writing a novel, authors should think about the kind of tone they want to portray before choosing which point of view they want to use. So it's not an attack tone. It's not directed at any specific person. It's a general claim that is true for all authors, and it gives a validity to that doesn't make it seem too specific. That first one has that intimate conversational tone, but the other one tells you what kind of person authors would benefit from the sentence. It doesn't apply to everybody, so it doesn't apply to all of the yous in there. It's more specific, and that way it's more formal, it's more direct, and it's a stronger sentence. So, if you are one of those people who has a hard time with I always tell students, your first draft is your first draft. Write it in the way that's easiest for you to get from start to finish, because we can work on and fix and edit and proofread a paper that exists. But as long as it's stuck in your head, nothing can be done. And so don't be one of those people who needs to make every sentence perfect your first draft. So if I think and I, in my opinion, and I, me, mine, ours, is how you write, and it's something you're working on, then don't be overly picky during that first draft, or you won't get it out, because you'll be trying to edit every sentence as you write it. It'll improve as you get more of an ear for what academic writing sounds like. So go ahead and write that first draft, whatever way works best for you to get through the outline that you created, so you can have that. Then you can go back and edit and proofread those out. As you get better, it will take less time, because you'll get better at not including those in there. So read through your essay, highlight pronouns in the first or second point of view. If you've written it in Word, you can do the search find feature to help you find all the I, my, me, mine, yours, ours. Look for any I think or in my opinion. You need to take those out. Usually whatever's after that is a direct sentence. In my opinion, people should volunteer more. Just get rid of in my opinion. People should volunteer more. So look at those. Can you change any of those to the third person? Can you change I to one, or a my to a person's, or you to a teacher? So we can say what it is and use those pronouns in third person more. You can always, if it starts to feel like you're saying, if a person wants to do this, he, she, he, her, he, she, he, her, him, her, over and over, just change it to people, and then you get to say they the whole time, so it's fine. If they are personal stories, though, you can use I, because it just sounds really weird to tell a personal story in third person like you weren't there. But your comments on that story or how it relates to your thesis should be back in that third person. Along with that, you want to refrain from referring to your writing process in the body of your paper. So in this paper I will write, take that out. Now let's discuss. It's stronger if you don't do that. I'm going to explain 3 different ways. Nope, there are 3 different ways. Take all of that out of there. Or this was a really difficult paper for me to write. Keep that in your notes. That doesn't belong in your paper. So here's an example of what it looks like to convert that. So if you have this first sentence, for the first time in my life, I had to move out of my parents' house and onto the college campus. I immediately had to decide whether I wanted to live in a dorm setting or an apartment setting. You can see benefits to both, but I think the dorms are better. In the dorms, we have a better opportunity for social interaction while we are adjusting to college. We also have easy access to all-you-can-eat food. Also, a resident assistant acts as your mentor and guide through your first year of college. Although the apartments would give me more independence, dorms are a better fit for me because of the social opportunities, unlimited food, and mentorship. It's a really great organized sentence, but it's like neat. I finish reading it and I think, neat, why are you telling me about your college choice? That's weird. If the point is to convince or persuade someone else that this is the choice that's good for students, which, while this may seem like it's a personal story, she doesn't really tell a personal story. She tells a personal preference, but it just seems like, yay, thanks for sharing as the reader. If you're trying to persuade your readers, you need to let it matter to everyone. It should apply to everyone. So she's converting this to a third person, making it a stronger argument that first-year students should live in the dorms. And this is how we went through, highlighted all those I, me, your, and then convert it into third person. For many students, the first year of college is their first time living outside their parents' house. These students must decide whether to live in a dorm setting or an apartment setting. Both have benefits, but dorms are the better option. In the dorms, students have a better opportunity for social interaction while they are adjusting to college. They also have easy access to bottomless food. Also, resident assistants on the dorm halls provide guidance and mentorship for students. Although the apartments provide more independence to students, dorms are a better fit for first-year students because of the social opportunities, unlimited food, and mentorship. Now the way it's written, it applies to the reader. It applies to people. Oh, I should consider that, or I should share that. You make some really good points. Freshmen should live in the dorms. And so instead of it just being, neat, why are you telling me about your life? It's, oh, here's information you need as the reader. And that's why it's a little bit different. And we can just see that in here with all of those letters and words that we found and the way that we changed that. So that's just a little something to go over to help us understand point of view in our writing. We want to get those I and me's out of our academic writing and get more into the way we want to organize that so that we're more prepared for college writing. So let me know your thoughts. You can discuss it below, ask questions below the post that I put this in, and I will see you in the discussion boards.